Tessa handed me a sealed envelope and told me my father's will had vanished. Part 2. I was still clutching Tessa's sealed envelope when I stepped into my father's study and found his filing cabinet standing wide open, a single document resting on the edge of the empty drawer as if someone had deliberately left it there for me to find. It was a quitclaim deed dated 6 weeks before my father died, transferring every piece of property he owned to a name I had never once heard. I tore open Tessa's envelope with shaking hands and found my father's original will inside, handwritten, witnessed, notarized, with my name listed as sole heir. Tessa had quietly pulled it from that cabinet the night before the funeral because she had caught my stepmother photographing every single page of it on her phone. I sat down on the floor of that study and just read my father's handwriting over and over until the words stopped blurring. He had been meticulous. Every asset listed, every account numbered, every instruction laid out clearly. Someone had gone through enormous effort to make all of it disappear. The quitclaim deed turned out to be forged. The notary seal on it was fake, and the transfer date fell during a week my father had been hospitalized and heavily sedated. He'd been on morphine, incapable of holding a pen. Tessa had already spoken to an estate attorney before she ever pressed that envelope into my hands. She had documented the open cabinet, photographed the fraudulent deed, and kept the original will hidden under a mattress for 3 days just to protect it from people who had no right to touch it. When I walked back into the reception and found my stepmother standing in the kitchen pouring herself a glass of wine like nothing had happened, I set the will down on the counter in front of her without saying a word. I watched the color drain from her face. She reached for it and I pulled it back. She said, "You don't understand the position I was in." I told her I understood it perfectly. Tessa's attorney filed an emergency motion that same week to contest the deed and freeze the estate before anything else could be moved. My stepmother hired her own lawyer the next day, but the forged notary seal unraveled everything faster than she expected. Tessa testified at the hearing. The deed was invalidated. Every person in that reception hall who had smiled at me and said he would have wanted this for you, some of them knew exactly what was happening and chose silence anyway. My father couldn't protect his own legacy at the end, but he trusted the right person to protect mine. Tessa never asked for a single thing in return. She just handed me the truth and stepped back, and I think about that every single day. Follow for the full legal outcome.